Okay, so it's Friday, 24th of January. We're waiting all week for 2 parts and they're both come in now, so I'm gonna go pick them up from the post office. On top of that, I have all this stuff here. So this, I got 2-inch rear lift spacers. I'm gonna be doing an install guide on the 1.5-inch leveling kit for the rear, and then I'm gonna put these in. So that is on standby for a minute, same with that. I got replacement springs for the rear after one of my rear springs snapped, and then I got my rear Camber Arms adjustable from Hardrace, and one of the things I got to pick up is for them, and they're getting installed. So I need my keys, go to the post office. Alright, before I get moving, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the status of the car, since it's probably been a minute. So as you can see in there, still got my stock rear camber arms in. They're pretty maxed out, which is what one of my parcels is for. I've still got my 1.5-inch springs and 1.5-inch spacers in the rear, and my 2-inch trailing arm spacer down there. As you can see in there, I've still got my 1.5-inch spacer, but I'm back to a stock spring. Everything else in here is the same as the other side except for that spring, and this tire is obviously not matching to the rest. That's due to the spring rubbing against it when it snapped and tearing up the sidewall of my old matching muddy. So I got an Ultra in there while I wait to go to 30s or 31s. You can see my absolutely terrible sticker placement here. Oh, and I just realized I haven't actually shown off my wheels properly yet. So these are my new wheels. They're 15x7 alloy, so I'm coming from the 15x6.5 stock steel wheels. But yeah, so these are 15x7 plus 35 offset, as opposed to the plus 55 that you get on the stock wheels. So I have a little bit of poke on my 235s now, which is why I got to get those flares going in the rear too. Now I mainly got them because they're lighter. Pushing 235 muddies slowed me down a little bit, not too much. This got a decent bit of power back, and I just like the look. So I'll be painting these either a matte gunmetal grey or black, or I'll be bedlinering them. Leaning towards bedliner, and then I actually forgot to grab them. I got brake pads as well to replace. Now you can see I've got my flares on now. They're not the prettiest, but I do actually really like the shape it's given the wheel arch. I still got to do the rear, and if you come in here, I've still got the same setup in the front. So that's that Hardrace adjustable camber arm, the 1-inch lift space from Aerogenics, and the roughly 1.5-inch lift spring from Kings. Now what I will be doing is pulling that 1.5-inch spacer from the rear when I put the 2-inch in, and that'll be going up front. Now that's what those other little spacers are for, but I'm not going to get too much into details. Also, just wanted to give a shout out to the Mean Rigs 4x4 guys. They guys did snatched me out when I got stuck on a dirt bike jump. This seam in here, I hammered in a few months ago, but I recently had to hammer in all this down here because it was still rubbing against my tires and taking little chunks out of the tread. So I've hammered that almost completely flat now, and it does not rub. When I go up a 1/2 inch higher, it shouldn't rub on the 30s as well. So anyway, that's everything. So let's get going. All right, so parcel 1 obtained from the post office. Now I just got to head back to my parents' place and pick up the parcel that arrived for me the other day. This is my Hardrace front sway bar end link. So they've been pretty clunky for a while. I'm sure you'll hear them right there for one. Basically every time I accelerate or brake or go over a speed bump or really anything, flex a little bit, it's a very loud and consistent clunk. And it's been like that for about 9, maybe 10 months. So I figured while we're here, might as well get some more of my shit. So I got my angle grinder there, my paints, degreaser and all that sort of stuff, and parcel number 2. Alright, so it's been roughly a week and a half since I last picked up on this. Getting to some painting today, and then hopefully going to shoot the rear lift guide tonight. So I'm just going to go through, I got to spray these with degreaser, give them a good clean down, and then I'm going to coat them black, and then they'll be ready to go with. Coat number 1, done. Alright, I just have to hit this with the impact gun here to get that bolt out because I can't find my breaker. It was taking me a bit longer than I was expecting. Now I got to get this camber arm detached, which is probably going to give me a similar problem, so let's do that. Right out. Let's get this off. All right. So now we've got that part of the spring there that would normally make that indent there, and we need that to line up with this. So we're just going to line that up right there. That's all it is. Now that should just bolt up fine. Those spring compressors are a nightmare, they suck. But the shock is assembled, the strut is assembled, so I'm going to bolt it up and get to work on these camber arms. Alright, so here are those rear camber arm brackets. This is the final product, nice and painted. That gloss black, I'm going to start installing these now. So one thing to note with these is, you see this hole here? That is going to be there, so you need a drill for that. But that's the only real modification you need to make for these, so I'm just going to go ahead and line this up so I know where I'm going to be drilling. Tell you what, I've been very impressed with these 12-volt power tools so far. Alright, so we're on drill bit number 2. So you can see that there, I'm trying to drill that too so I can get to my rear camber arm bracket. I'm going to unbolt that now that I've got that pilot hole. Yes! Alright, so it's Friday. It's been a few days since my last update once more. I've just finished my rear lift guide. I've just taken these fucking rubbery plastic inserts out of my wheels because they look ugly. And I don't like them. There's it. Just a piece of shit. Ugly, fucking, stupid liner. There we go. That's all it is. Just yank it out. Now let's get that wheel back on. Alright, so it's been roughly another week since I've last updated this. A few more things went wrong. I haven't really got that much done. I'll go through what I have got done though. Quite humid out here, so the camera keeps fogging up. But right now I'm just getting my brake pads in. So those Bendix heavy duty ones I got, they sent me the wrong size. So I've got some just standard Repco ones going in now because my car's been on stands for 2 days and the Bendix ones are on special order. I still haven't got the camber arms in. Basically what happened was the camber arm drop brackets wouldn't fit with the stock or the aftermarket camber arms. So I have since fixed that. I had to grind down the bushing sleeve on the Hardrace Camber Arms. I'm going to be giving those to a mate to get powder coated because, to be honest, I hate how my gloss coat came out. And trying to fit the Camber Arms before I shaved down the sleeve, it fucked up the paint on the inside, so I just don't want it rusting. So I'm going to get those powder coated. But today, I just need to get these brake pads done. So I got one side in and just get into the other. Get the new ones in on this side and we're good to go. Alrighty, so we've got these Hardrace Camber Arms here. I've already got one side in. As you can see, I've ground down the bushing a bit, but it still won't quite go in. So I just got to grind down that bushing sleeve a little bit more. So I'm going to do that now. And yeah, then we can bolt them in. Lines right up, no hassle whatsoever. I probably could have ground back a little bit less, but yeah, as you can see, all fits up now and I can bolt it to the vehicle. Alrighty, so currently I have a 2-inch trailing arm spacer, a 1.5-inch lift spring, and a 2-inch lift spacer on this side. Now, my camber arm is super maxed out. Between my tire and my fender guard, I have 16.5 centimeters of travel. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how much travel I have at max down travel, and then I'm going to go ahead and bolt the camber arm and the camber arm bracket in and show you how much I have after the fact. Alright, now that we have the tire off the ground, we can measure how much down travel we really have. So we're at 16.5 before, and now we're bang on 20 centimeters. So we have about 3.5 centimeters of down travel before the wheel lifts the ground. That's not a whole lot. That's about 1.2, 1.3 inches of down travel. Not a huge amount. So now we're just going to get this thing on stands to get the wheel off. Okay, so I jacked up the lower control arm to raise the camber arm so I could get it out. Holy fuck! What is wrong with your car? True. Daddy! Now I know for a fact just by looking at that it lines up with like the very edge, so I gotta drill out to the right now, which is fine, just something to keep in mind. Alright, now we're just gonna do a little bit of preventative rust coating. Alright, so I just went ahead and started bolting it back together. You need to attach the bracket to the camber arm first, and then just kind of slot it in here, and work your way up to getting it to bolt up. It'll take a little bit of fiddling, I've found. There we go. One bolt in, through the arm, come on. And perfect. So I've got that's all 3 points of our suspension bolted up. Now that we've got that camber arm bracket, we've got max flex out of this thing, and we have another 3 centimeters of down travel. We're at that 23 centimeter mark, and our geometry is perfectly level. So you're still limited by the max extension of your strut and your spring here, unless you go for a longer shock and spring, which would all be custom. You're not going to get any more travel than this, However, what I can say is I'm now down traveling properly. I've got 23 centimeters clearance between my tire and my fender, and all my geometry is factory. Now, here's an interesting thing. If you remember before, we were at 16.5 centimeters between the tire and the fender. Now I'm going to lower this back down. Okay, so now sitting from the top of the tire to the fender guard, we're at 20 centimeters. So I've again gotten 3.5 centimeters, or about 1.5 inches more height out of the vehicle, and our alignment is all in check. So the good thing is, while we don't get a huge amount more down travel, we actually have a lot of up travel now. So, and we have all this clearance between the tire and the fender, so we can easily fit larger tires, which is exactly why I did this. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. I was mainly focusing on just getting the rear end sorted this time around and getting everything going there. So just to sort of recap, we've gotten a 1.5 inch spring replaced on the side where we had the stock spring. We've gone up to 2 inches of lift spacer instead of 1.5 inch. We've got our Hardrace adjustable camber arms and our HRG camber arm drop brackets installed. We've gotten more height out of the rear end. Everything is back in check. I've still got to get an alignment, but that's fine. I did this all off camera because, I don't know, I didn't really think it was that important to show, but I replaced my front seats. I've now got these armrest ones. I've also got the extra adjustments down here. The factory seats don't have any adjustments for the actual seat itself, just the backrest and how far forward it sits, so that's really nice to have. And it's also got the little storage pocket in the back. You can't really see it, but that's a nice change. I also went and snagged a wood grain head unit fascia. Had to swap my aircon controls back over to the ones in my original unit because the ones that came with it were busted, but that's fine. It was like $15. I got my fog light switch in, not wired up though, and yeah, I forgot to show you, but I went ahead and installed some factory fog lights, both sides. I really like it. Finally makes sense for this bumper part here because there's actually something there. It doesn't just look like it's guarding dead space. My bumper isn't bolted here, but the good thing about this bull bar is that there's just no way it can come off, so I'm probably not going to worry about putting those clips that people do to hold it to there. It just doesn't matter to me. Yeah, anyway, that's everything for today. Peace!